I'm Josh, the host of the Beamable Game Dev Podcast, and on today's episode, I sit down with Danish Sana from Gamestacy. Let's jump into the interview. I want to welcome Danish to the show. How you doing?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Josh.
Yeah, it's so great that we're able to connect
Totally.
and chat, and we're gonna
Yeah.
get to know you and kind of your history with games
Awesome.
and find out more about Gamestacy and
Cool.
what you guys are up to as a company. So
Okay.
let's find out where did your passion for games originate?
So as a child, I used to just sit in front of my computer, and I started. The first game I started was Mario and etc. But I went to the desktop, and my first title was Age of Empires. I didn't know what to exactly do. I was just pushing the villagers, building stuff, and I was like, "Wow, I can do such cool things. I can actually build an empire." So that was what fascinated me. I was a big time lover of strategy simulation game. I used to play Total Annihilation, Civilization, Sims, and Roller Coaster Tycoon. These were the titles I was built on. Command and Conquer, and later on I started playing shooter games because everybody who is a gamer used to play like at least Counter Strike or Doom or like Call of Duty. So that then I ventured into shooter games, and I have played around more than 300 or 400 games, and I have around 1,000 games in my Steam library right now. So yeah.
Wow, that's a
Yeah.
massive library.
Yeah.
That's huge. I love it. I love it. I love that you said Age of Empire and you were just kind of building, just like moving the villagers, just kind of.
Yeah, I used to just kill my villagers because I just thought whenever I build them, they are just destroying it by doing this. Afterwards, I'm like, oh, they're actually building it. Like it didn't feel like a building animation; it felt like a destroying animation. They used to bring a hammer and try to do da da da. I thought, oh damn, they're destroying my buildings. Kill them.
I love it.
So
That's great.
yeah.
That's awesome. I love hearing that. So, tell me about Gamestacy and about the company's vision.
So I started Gamestacy in 2017 as an indie. I was fascinated by Game Dev Tycoon and all these guys who made like games as individuals or in a team of 2 3 people. And later on, I worked with 3 titles called Turney Road, Insta Game, and Chain Nuclear Reaction. And then I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like, but later on I realized like I have to scale up, I have to think of it like a business. Then I actually joined an acceleration program called Entrepreneur First, and there I actually started learning about the business, how to create a business, how to structure a company, how to find a founder, how to hire good people in your team. And then I restarted Games CC last year around July 2020, and then we restarted with a team of around 14 awesome people with artists, designers, developers, business biz dev, and everybody is like working on we all are working on 6 titles right now for the mobile gaming market. And as a company, we are focused on solving issues at the same time creating awesome game. So we want to solve all the gender related issues in the gaming community, any form of harassment, women or any non-binary gender faces specifically, and we want to solve all these issues and make the gaming a better place.
I love it. That's great. That's great. Can you tell me about some of the games that you've made or even currently working on?
Cool. Yeah, sure. So we are working with a lot of publishers on hyper casual games, which is like private, but we are working as a company working on 6 games. The first one is Zigzag Racer. It's a racing game where you have to like keep be the last man standing. It's a multiplayer racing game. Like it's like Temple Run me with 4 players. Like you have to be the last one who is like alive on that endless runner kind of game. The second one is Fashion Friends. It's a dress up game where you have to compete with other stylists and become the best stylist in the world. You have to like you will have different situations where clients will come and you have to dress up your character. The third one is Influencer. Influencer is a social media simulation game. Like how you have, if you love business, you have a game of Monopoly. So we wanted to go into the social media direction because that is very popular right now, and create a game about social media where you have to gain millions of followers, where you have to like comment, where you get like comment from real players, bots and everyone, and it's a fun social simulation experience. So I was a big fan of simulation. So that is one of my favorite brainchilds. The fourth one is nuclear reaction. There was a game called Chain Reaction, which did very well in the market. So we inspired and we said, why not create our own version of awesome board games just like that? And Nuclear Reaction was one of those games where it's a multiplayer board game where you can play with like up to 8 players, and you have to take charge of atoms and capture enemy atoms and blast them. It's a super fun game. The fifth one is Master Cook. Master Cook is a cooking simulator, like any kind of classic cooking game. We were fascinated by that market because we wanted to enter the casual woman and space, and we thought cooking and certain kind of fashion games or even intellectual games like nuclear reaction would interest them. So that was this classic cooking games which young girls love. The sixth game is called Age of Democracy. It was inspired from the game called Reigns, which was a medieval simulator. So we wanted to create a real life simulator with the modern issues like COVID has happened. What will you do? So you just have to swipe left or right. Do you want to do a lockdown or not? If you don't do a lockdown, some people will get angry. If you do a lockdown, some people will get angry. So it's always you're in the dilemma of choices. There is no right answer as per se, but you have to make decisions and survive. Like it's a survival game. There is no way to win more than 10 years in the game. You'll lose after 2 elections, but how long you survive, how well do you do, how many people are happy with you, how much prosperous you make your country is like the end game score. So these are the 6 games which you are working on.
The last one sounds a little stressful.
Yeah, it says like it is like you're always, oh my god, if I do the wrong decision, I'm dead. Next turn.
And where can people find these games?
So right now we have Influencer and Fashion Frenzy and Zigzag Racer live, and we are doing beta testing. Anybody can play it on their Android store. By next month to 45 days, we will have all these 3 games live on iOS also, and the rest 3 games will come by the end of this year.
Very good. All right. All right. Let's transition a little bit and talk about how has Beamable helped in the development of these games.
So Ali has been has helped us a lot in terms of being with us in the design process, as we were the initial partners with Beamble, and he used to be involved in weekly syncs, and his whole team of Chris, Satvik, and a few other people used to always contribute to the design of how we should think about creating these games for all the women and non-binary gender. How can we improve on it? How can we even make the industry a better place apart from the backend service? In backend, I love about Beamable is there that I can write backend code in C sharp. That is the best feature. I think you call it C sharp microservices, and that is one of my favorite features at Beamable because that allows me to make sure that all of my developers who are familiar with C sharp can write C sharp friendly code even in the backend. They don't have to learn a new language. It's like going to France and speaking in English. You don't have to learn a new language. There is a certain level of ease of programming which happens because of that. So that is, I would say, Beamable has helped us in the design process of the games, as well as they have made our lives easier by providing a C sharp microservices.
Are there any of the other services that you guys are currently using?
I think we use all the services. Like we use leaderboards, we use login. Everything is like completely smooth. So right now we are shifting to iOS because we can easily shift to iOS because Beamable supports both platforms easily. So my login system can work with iOS as well as Android. I don't have to make a custom login for iOS specifically. So we are using leaderboards, achievements, microservices. We are doing real time and turn based multiplayer with Beamable and whatever services there are, and everything is online. So they have a future offline mode also coming in. So we are trying to create a robust way of managing player economy as well as making sure none of the data gets hacked or people don't cheat in the game. That is all because of Beamable.
Anything else that really gets you excited about Beamable?
So about the services, yes. So I like the fact that I can also do a lot of A/B testing very easily using Beamable because they have their own A/B testing program, and also the fact I think Beamable is moving into the tournament and battle pass structure, which is also super exciting for me because if one of the game scales, it's like a 10 minutes job to include like a tournament system or a battle pass system, which makes us think more in the design process and not go deep dive in the development process, which allows us more flexibility to do a lot of A/B testing and iterate faster.
That's great. That's great. It sounds
Yeah,
like it's able to save you quite a bit of time.
definitely.
All right. Well, Danish, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me and
No
chat about
problem.
the games you're making. And I like what an incredible story and vision. And I wish you guys the best.
Thank you so much. Same to you. All the best to Beamable too.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Beamable Game Dev Podcast. To learn more about Beamable, head on over to beamable.com.